A Texas man has been arrested after allegedly stalking and sending Caitlin Clark very explicit messages, and the allegations against him are disturbing. Now, I don't usually report on a lot of the off-court drama that happens in the WNBA, but this is pretty serious. This guy, Michael Denton, is from Texas, a 55-year-old man, and he had been sending Caitlin Clark some crazy disturbing messages. Apparently someone on Twitter went and found his replies to her, and some of the messages that he sent her are pretty intense, and I'm going to show them right now, but I want to warn you that some of them can be disturbing, so just a heads up. You want to make out with me? You're a nun, I forgot. Do you even like to make out? I'm not even going to read this one, but you can see what it says. I don't want to read this one either, but again, you can see what it says. I had absolutely no plan of ever coming back here, but I sent you a post saying I want to be with you everywhere, and then my father says, "What are you doing here then?" I don't know if he means father like his actual dad. This man's 55 years old, so his dad would be at least in his 70s, I'd think. Or if he means father in the capital F sense, like God, because it seemed on his social media that he is a big follower of Christ, though he has no followers on his social media. Anyway, you get the gist. Now, this did not come out from Caitlin Clark herself or her PR team or anything. This is all being revealed from court documents. And this is all the information we know. A 55-year-old Texas man was arrested on felony stalking charges in Indianapolis on Sunday after he sent threats and sexually violent messages to Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Blah, blah, blah. Police records show that Michael Lewis of Denton, Texas, was charged with a level 5 felony after he was arrested in a hotel in Indianapolis. He could face up to 6 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Been driving around your house 3 times a day, but don't call the law just yet. I'm getting tickets, I'm sitting behind the bench. And apparently, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department says officers first made contact with Lewis last week, and he downplayed the nature of the messages, claiming they were more fantasy than reality. He also stated he was in Indianapolis on vacation. But I mean, fantasy or reality not, like traveling to Indianapolis, sending Caitlin Clark all those messages is like bananas. But according to this article by TMZ of all people, Clark herself raised concerns when speaking to the cops, according to court documents obtained by TMZ Sports. And she said she even adjusted her public appearance out of fear for her safety. And then it goes on to state that several of Lewis's alleged messages to Clark were also included in the docs, and they're disturbing, such as being mentioned near CeCe's residence, with Lewis allegedly stating, "Between driving around your house 3 times a day," we already went over that, "but don't call the law just yet. The public is allowed to drive by Gamebridge," aka Caitlin's field house. And a lot of the Caitlin Clark haters, or Hatelins, as a lot of people call them, are responding in disturbing manners themselves. When we tried to tell y'all her fan base was weird and mentally ill, y'all were defending them. Y'all made some weirdos feel comfortable. Stop defending and allowing abusive behavior. That got a lot of backlash, and I guess they posted a reply saying, "I said, WTF, I said, every fan who co-signs toxic and harmful behavior have a hand in what took place. I've seen so many of you make them feel like saying and doing disgusting things are okay. So stay mad." Now, I don't like at all taking what's in the Twitter space as actual reality, because the Twitter space, while I use Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it for the best news, it is the place to find the things that happen most recently. You have to discern what is like factual, what is like reality, what people are creating into an issue that in real life is not an issue. And actually, this could just really just not be an issue, and we could just let this type of stuff go. It's hard, though, because there has been so much discourse about Caitlin Clark and about race and about things that should not be issues in women's basketball in general, or sports in general, but are issues. And it's like watching anything that Caitlin Clark does or anything that happens to Caitlin Clark, both sides of her fan base, like the haters and the diehards, will never waver. And I'm a fan. I am a fan of basketball, and I am a huge fan of Caitlin Clark because of the way she plays basketball. It is insane. It is transcendental. It is very new to women's basketball. But in situations like this, you don't necessarily blame the victim or the victim's fan base. And yes, I know there have been threats to other players in the league, which are categorically wrong. And this is yet another categorically wrong incident. No fan should take their love of a player and use it against any other player, or in this case, like obsessively use it towards a player where that threatens her safety and where she has to like put hats on or disguise herself while go to the store. And usually this online discourse does not come into the sphere of real life. But in this case, it does show that it quickly can escalate to threats of physical violence.